गिरिधारी शिशि राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरन मोहन जू की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अश्रुतर शुत शिष्मान भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अश्रुतर शुत शिष्मान भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अश्रुतर शुत शिष्मान भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अश्रुतर शुत शिष्मान भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्ट महाभगवत श्लोकोक्षरदास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। नित्यालल शिल सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानु गौड़िया गुरु वार्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंद आदि श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदत्त गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। जय श्री जैव धर्म की जय। जय श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। जय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। We'll do the Mangala Charan. Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya. Sorry. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Tividito Gaudiya Gurvanvaye Bhato Bhanuriva Prabhata Gagane Yogora Sankirtanai Maya Varati Mingilo Daragatan Udritya Jivaniman Krishna Prema Sudabdi Gahana Sukham Pradat Prabhung Tang Bhaje Vande Bhakti Vinodang Shri Gaura Shakti Swarupakam Bhakti Shastragya Samrajam Radha Rasa Sudha Nidim Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vrishabhanusutan vitavamatanum Yamuna tatanagarananda sutam Murali kalagita vinoda param bhaja godruma kanana kunja vidum Smara gaura gadadara keli kalam Bhava Gaura Gadadhara Pakshachara Shrinu Gaura Gadadhara Charukatang bhaja godrumakanana kunjavidum. Tavai vasmi, na jivami tvaya vina. Itti vegyaya devi tvang nayamang charanantikam. Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshai, क्षिप्ताष्टकामादितराङ्ग मध्ये कृपामयि त्वां शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् भज श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्तवृन्द Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Nri Hari Prabhu, and Bhavatarani Mataji, Shri Devi Didi, Yugal Kishore Kishori Didi, um, Fu Monica. What's your devotional name? Fu Monica? Yeah, and I see there's somebody else there. Maybe it's Indira Mataji, or I don't know who, but Dandavat Pranams, everybody. So we are continuing after um, our 2 days of festivities in honor of our Srila Gurudev and Nitya Pravishya Srila Bhaktivedanta Vamana Goswami Maharaj. Now we are resuming our our readings of the middle part of Jaiva-dharma on Daśa-mūla-śikṣā. Haribo, Sarveshwari Mataji and Pradyumna Prabhu and Mantramurti Mataji. Haribo. Um, oh, wait. So my plan originally was to um, because it's been such a long gap, to just go through what we read yesterday, just to so that I have it fresh in my mind and I could, and also just to look at what we're going to read today, um, just even briefly to get an overview. But Anuradha Mataji sent back the Krishna chapter of the Gaudiya Gita Gucha, and I was so excited that I ended up just working on that until this very minute. I sent the file back to her. Um, but yeah, the Krishna chapter was a big bottleneck in the whole songbook project because I added in a bunch of new songs and they were really difficult and I had questions everywhere. And so it's just, yeah, it's really exciting to see it all finished. Well, nearly finished. I sent a bunch of corrections back, but yeah. Anyhow, just letting you know though, I'm figuring it all out what we're reading and all that right now. So, um yeah. If I would have just like spent 3 minutes or 2 minutes even, I probably would have been able to prepare everything, but I didn't even do that. Um so I did find where we left off yesterday though. That is one thing. We finished here, but that's all I did. Um something I wanted to check out. Um, there's this book, Journey of the Soul, that um GVP, that Shamarani Mataji, no, PDF. Think this is it. Yeah, Shamarani Mataji put this book together during Gurudev's time. Um, just to clarify everybody's understanding of Jiva Tattva. And I'm wondering, if I remember correctly, there were all sorts of charts and things. I'm just, I just went to download it now. Um, yeah, I'm gonna download it and let's just see if there's anything helpful on here. This might be a good way to do a recap also. I don't know. I'm, this is what I meant to do before we started. Open it with preview. Here. Here's the book, Journey of the Soul. Let's see what's the table of contents like. Where's the table of contents? Oh, I guess it comes after the introduction. No. Anyhow, that's cool. Look at that chart. Krishna's expansions. See, this would have been helpful when we were reading this section. We're already past this, so I think. Anyways, let's just look at it. So, Shri Krishna's expansions. Krishna's personal expansions, his svangsha, and Krishna's separated expansions, the vibhinangsha. There should be two N's there. um, those are the jīvas. And so Krishna expands as Baladev. And from Baladev comes the separated expansion of the associates in Goloka Vrindavan. The eternally nit. Oh, and in this first, why did that turn dark? I don't know why that turned dark. But yeah, this first circle is the eternally liberated, the Nitya Mukta Jivas. They all come from Baladev Prabhu. And then Baladev Prabhu further expands as Mul Sankarshan. And then the Vibhinangsha forms, the jivas from coming from Mul Sankarshan are Krishna's eternal associates in Mathura and Dwarka. And then Baladev further expands as Maha Sankarshan. And then from Maha Sankarshan comes the Vibhinangsha, the separated expansions of the eternal associates of Krishna as Narayan in Vaikuntha. The associates of Narayan in Vaikuntha. Yes, okay. And then they're all considered, yeah, Vibhinangsha. Okay, cool. Then from Mahasankarshan, Mahasankarshan further expands as Karana Dakshay Vishnu, or Mahavishnu. And from Mahavishnu, the Vibhinangsha is the Tatastha Jivas who looked towards either Yogamaya or they looked towards the control of either Maya, Yogamaya or Mahamaya. And so the jivas in this world, they look towards Mahamaya. And they've been conditioned since time immemorial. They're Nitya Baddha. And then, as we know, Karna Dakshay Vishnu expands as Garbha Dakshay Vishnu in every single universe. And then within every atom, um, and the super soul, Kshira Dakshay Vishnu expands further expands. Yeah. So that is Krishna's expansions. Krishna's personal expansions, Svangsha, which is Krishna, Baladev, Mul Sankarshan, Mahasankarshan, Karna Dakshay Vishnu, Garbha Dakshay Vishnu, Kshira Dakshay Vishnu. And coming from Baladev, Mul Sankarshan, Mahasankarshan, like that, is Krishna's Vibhinangsha, Krishna's separated expansions, which is from Baladev, Krishna's eternal associates in Goloka Vrindavan. From Mul Sankarshan, Krishna's eternal associates in Mathura and Dwarka. From Mahasankarshan, the eternal associates of Narayan in Vaikuntha. And then Karna Dakshay Vishnu. From Karna Dakshay Vishnu comes the Vibhinangsha Tatastha Jivas. Those who look towards Yogamaya and those who look towards Mahamaya. Yeah. All right. So that's pretty clear. That's a nice chart. Let's see what other charts are on here. The three Vishnu incarnations, Purush avatars. Looks like it's missing from this PDF. Anyhow, we already went through the three Vishnu incarnations. So, ooh, this is cool. An overview of Krishna's potencies, of Krishna's Shaktis. See, this would have been helpful when we were reading this section. Krishna is called Sarva Shaktiman. Actually, maybe before we look at this, let's go through the Daśa-mūla verses and then we will look at this. Yeah. Okay. So, oh, and let me, one second. I just want to see, I want to open this up so I can see who joins. Haribol Vidyalala Sadidi and Champak Mataji. And I see a few other devotees have joined. Haribol. Ah, shoot, one second. Sorry, the songbook stuff is like my priority right now. And so I just don't want to keep him hanging. I did give the value for the two verses. Okay, sorry. Okay, so let's recite Daśa-mūla 1. Amnaya prahatatvam harimiha paramang sarvashakting rasabdhim tadbhinangshangshcha jivan prakriti kavalitan tadvimuktangscha bhavad Bheda Bheda Prakasha Sakalamapi Hare Sadhanang Shuddha Bhakting Sadhyang Tat Pritime Vetupadishati Janan Gaura Chandra Swayang Sa. So here are the 10 fundamental principles, tattvas, that Mahaprabhu instructed. This is our Gaudiya philosophy in a nutshell. First is Amnaya Praha, our praman, the evidence that we use to establish any conclusion. All of our Gaudiya Siddhanta is Amnaya. Amnaya is the teachings of the Vedas that have been received through the Guru Parampara, through a Sat Sampradaya, pure Sampradaya. That is Amnaya. And so those words coming through the those words of the Vedas coming through the Guru Parampara, and also other forms of evidence like direct perception, pratyaksha, and there are other different types. There's many different types of evidence, but all those different pramans that follow Amnai, that follow these words of the Vedas coming through the Guru Parampara, that's also we consider praman, but only if they follow the Amnaya. So, and this praman establishes the 9 prameyas, and prameya means that which is proven by the praman. So the 9 proven truths is the first 3 have to do with Krishna, and that's this first line here. Tattam harim iha paramam, that Krishna is the supreme absolute truth. He's the parama tattva, paramam tattvam. And that Krishna is Sarva Shaktiman. He is the possessor of all Shakti, of all potency. And he is a Rasabdhim. He is an ocean of Ras. And then the next line here, this has to do with jīvas. So what we went over in this chapter 15 of Jaiva-dharma, which we just finished, or no, we're almost about to finish it. First is Tad Bhinangshangscha Jivan. The jivas are the bhinna, they are the separated angsha, separated parts of Bhagavan. And so we just looked at that chart from this Journey of the Soul book that showed how the jivas are separated parts from Baladev Prabhu, from, coming through all these different expansions. Then today we will go through how the jivas are prakriti kavalitan, how they are bound or swallowed. I think kavalitan means swallowed by prakriti, by Maya. And then tad vimuktangsh, tad vimuktang. The jivas are, the liberated souls are free from Maya. The conditioned souls are subject to the control and covering of Maya, and the liberated souls are free from Maya. And then the next one, after Krishna Tattva and after Jiva Tattva, then we come to how everything is relates to each other. Like it says everything, sakalam, everything in existence is both, it's Bheda, it is separate from Krishna, and it is abheda, it is non-different from Krishna or from Sri Hari. Inconceivably one with and different from Sri Hari. Everything in existence. And our sadhan, our practice, the means to attain the goal, is Shuddha Bhakti. And our sadhya, our goal, our prayojan, is not Krishna, but Krishna Prem, our priti, tat pritim, love for him, tat pritim. These are the instructions of Gaurachandra, who is Swayam Bhagavan himself, who is that same Sri Hari. Okay, so that's the Daśa-mūla. And so right now we're finishing up this, how jivas are vibhinangsha, and today we're reading this. Conditioned souls are captured by Maya. So let's just go through the Sanskrit for these verses of Daśa-mūla. I have it right here. This is what I'm working on right now. This is nearly ready to yeah, Baijanti Mala Mataji edited this the other day, and now I just have a couple questions in it for my friend Chandrasekhar is going to look at. But yeah, okay. So I'll just recite the Sanskrit, and then we'll go through all the verses. Swata siddho vedo haridaita vedha prabhritita pramanam sat praptam pramiti vishayantan navavidan tata pratyakshari pramita sahitang sadhayatina na yuktistarka kya pravishati tata shakti rahita. Should I explain the Sanskrit? Maybe it would be good. Okay, I'll just do that really quickly. So the Swata Siddha Veda, the self-evident Vedas, which are Sat Praptam, which are received in the Sat Sampradaya, the pure Sampradayas, by Hari Daita, that means recipients, those who are dear to Sri Hari. In the Bengali, it says those who are recipients of Sri Hari's mercy, such as Vedas means Brahma, Prabhritipta, and so on. So from recipients of Sri Brahma's, of Krishna's mercy, such as Brahma and so on, that is what we consider Praman. It's called Amnaya. So that is what we consider to be Praman. That's the evidence. This Praman, Sadayati, it establishes, for us, it establishes for us the Pramiti Vishayan. So Pramiti means true knowledge, proven knowledge, and Vishayan is the object of that knowledge. So like and in other words, Pramiti Vishayan means the Prameyas. Prameyas means those things which have been proven by the Praman. And these Prameyas are, Tan means these, are of Nava Vidha. They are of 9 types, or 9, whatever. There are 9, what would he say? I don't know, 9 facets. That's it. Yeah, whatever. And then it says Tata Pratyakshi Pramiti Sahitam. So this is our Praman, this Amnaya, as well as other forms of evidence, other true knowledge coming from Pratyaksha, that means direct perception, Adi, and so on. And as I mentioned, Adi and Prabriti both mean the same thing. They both mean and so on. But yeah. But only if this Pratyaksha and other types of evidences are in line with the Amnaya. Na yuktis tarkakya pravishati tata shakti rahita. And there is no reasoning based on tarka, like which means logic, na pravishati, that has no entrance into these topics on these 9 subject matters, these prameyas, because these prameyas they are they are beyond this. Like they're inconceivable transcendental subject matters, which are beyond the reach of the senses, beyond the grasp of the material brain, like that. So there's no use in tarka and logic and argument and logic trying to figure out the truth because Shakti Rahita, our senses, like this brain, is this logic has no power. It's devoid of any Shakti, only has material Shakti. Can't understand transcendental subject matters with material power. So that is the first verse. Now the second verse. Haristvekam tattvang Vidishiva Suresha Pranamita Yadevedang Brahma Prakriti Rahitang Tat Tvanumaha Paratma Paratma Tasyanksho Jagaranugato Vishvajanaka Savairadha Kanto Navajalada Kantish Chidudaya. So Hari is the one, he is the Eka, he is the one absolute truth, Tattvam. That absolute truth, who Vidhi, Brahma, Shiva, and Suresh, that means Indra, are always, they are eternally offering their pranam. They are always bowing down to that Hari, who is the supreme absolute truth. Then Brahma, non-differentiated Brahma, which is devoid of energy, he's prakriti rahitam, he is only his anumaha, Hari's effulgence. And the super soul and all these forms of Vishnu that we just looked at in that chart, they are merely tasya angsho, his expansions, who have jagad anugato, who have entered into the material universes, and who are Vishvajanaka, who are the creators of the universe. They are the origin of all the universes. So yeah, Brahma's his effulgence. The forms of Vishnu are his ankshas, and Sa means he, Vai certainly is Radha Kanta. He is the beloved of Sri Radha, whose kanti, whose complexion is like a fresh rain cloud, Nava Jalada, and whose form is completely transcendental. Chid Udaya. He is the transcendental reality. Chid Udaya. Still not 100% sure what Udaya means. Anyways, but I think the Bengali translation said Chit Swarup. That's what I remember. So he's a transcendental reality. Okay. So that's one. Now the next verse. Parakyaya Shaktir Apritagapi Saswe Mahimani Stito Jivakyang Swang Achidabhihitang Tang Tripadikang Swatantre Cha Shaktim Sakala Vishaye Prerana Paro Vikaradhyay Shunya Paramapurusho Yang Vijayate. Okay, so that Hari is the Shakti. Akya means called Para. So the Para Shakti, Para Shaktir, that Hari is apritag. He is non-different from that Para Shakti. But although he is non-different, Swe Mahimani, he is, what would he say? He is stito.
He is eternally situated. He is stito in swe means in his own mahimani, in his own glory. And he is swatantrecha, swatantra icha. He has his independent, swatantra means independent, icha means desires. So he is the possessor of, he is the Shaktiman who is situated in his own glory. So the Shakti is completely subservient to him, and he has his own independent desires. The only purpose of Shakti is to fulfill Sri Hari's independent desires. So now what's the next line? Okay, so that Parashakti is divided into three, or the Surup Shakti, right? Um, no, wait, yeah, wait, anyways. He engages, sorry, let me just stick to what it's saying here. He engages his threefold Shaktis, the Tripadikam, are the threefold Shaktis. What are those? What are the Tripadikam? What are the threefold Shaktis? Well, the first was already explained in the first line, the Para Shakti. That's the spiritual potency, the transcendental potency, Para Shakti. The other is, so that's Parakya. Akya means called. So the one called Para, and then the one Akya called Jiva, the Jiva Shakti, the marginal potency. And Abhihitam also means the same as Akyam. And the one called Achid or Maya. Achid means not spiritual, the external potency, the Maya Shakti. These are the these are the Tripadikam, these are the threefold Shaktis. And so Krishna, he is always prerana. He is always how do we word that here? He's always engaging these threefold Shaktis, the Para, Jiva, and Achid, or Maya Shaktis, in Sakal Vishaya, in all of their functions. Sakal, all of their Vishaya, and all the things that they do. But Krishna himself, even though he's engaging all these Shaktis, and they're, changing and doing all sorts of things, but he himself is Vikara, he is Vikara Shunya. Vikara Shunya means he is devoid of any transformation himself. So Vijayate, may that Param Purush, may that Supreme Personality be ever victorious. Vijayate, may be ever victorious. So that's the third verse. Now let's go through the fourth verse. Savai La Din. Oh, wait. And this chart here is on that. An overview of Shri Krishna's potencies, his Shaktis. So Krishna is called Sarva Shaktiman. Sarva Shaktiman means the possessor of all potencies. When you put a man at the suffix man at the end of a word, it means the possessor of that. He's a possessor of sarva, of all shakti, of all potencies. His one spiritual potency has many different names. The main names are Parashakti, which means the supreme potency, the Swarup Shakti, meaning his personal, complete, intrinsic potency, and Chit Shakti. So these are all the same thing. You can either call it Parashakti, Swarup Shakti, or Chit Shakti. They're all synonymous. So that Swarup Shakti, or that Parashakti, or that Chit Shakti is Shri Krishna's original Swarup Shakti is one, but it manifests in different ways according to its function and its activity. So here are the three activities of Swarup Shakti. In other words, although Swarup Shakti is one, this Swarup Shakti acts in the three following ways. So as the Chit Shakti, or Swarup Shakti, also known as Antaranga Shakti, or the activity of this Chit Shakti or Swarup Shakti is that it manifests the holy dhams like Vaikuntha, Goloka, and Vraj. and corresponding realm of existence. And it's within the transcendental realm, right? This Chit Shakti acts in the transcendental realm. And then there's the Jiva Shakti. Other names of the Jiva Shakti are Tatashta Shakti, or the marginal energy. So the Jiva Shakti, the activity of the Jiva Shakti is that it manifests the aggregate of unlimited jivas. And the Jiva Shakti is within the Jiva Sarga, the realm of the living entities, the Tatastha realm. And it can either go to Yogamaya or Mahamaya. Then the third is Maya Shakti, also known as Achit Shakti or Bahiranga Shakti, the external potency. So the activity of the Maya Shakti is that the Maya Shakti manifests the mundane world of inert material creations, like the unlimited material universes. And the material Shakti is in the realm of inert matter, the material world. That's where the Maya Shakti performs its activities. So all the eternal characteristics of Swarup Shakti are completely present in Chit Shakti, present to a minute degree in Jiva Shakti, and present in a distorted way as a perverted reflection in Maya Shakti. Okay, that's that chart. I think this chart could have been simplified. Anyways, okay. Anyhow, let's see now. So those were the three activities of the Swarup Shakti. And now the three functions of the Swarup Shakti. We'll go over that in the next verse. Let's go to the next verse of. Okay, Savai Ladinyascha Pranaya Vikritir Ladanaratas Tata Samvichakti Prakatitaraho Bhavarasita Tata Shri Sandhinya Krita Vishadata Dhamanichaye Rasambodho Magno Vrajarasa Vilasi Vijayate. Okay, so the Swarup Shakti has three functions. Ladini, Sandhini, and Samvit. Right? Three functions of Swarup Shakti. So the first line of this verse, each line of this verse explains one of the functions of Swarup Shakti. So the first line of the verse explains the function of the Ladini Shakti. The second explains the function of the Samvit Shakti. And the third explains the function of the Sandhini Shakti. So the first line. So Krishna, Sa means he, Vai certainly, is Ladana Rata. He is completely immersed, Rata. He's immersed in the light, in the Ladana of the Pranaya Vikriti. That means the transformations of love by the Ladini Shakti, Ladinyash. That means by the Ladini Shakti. So Krishna remains perpetually immersed in the delight and the hladana of the transformations of love, the pranaya vikar, caused by the hladini shakti. Now the second line is, through the confidential bhavs, the raho means confidential bhav, of the samvit shakti, which is manifested, prakatita means manifested or evoked from the samvit shakti. Krishna is rasita. That means he is always relishing ras, the ras of the raho bhava, of the confidential bhavs. And bhav here specifically refers to like the moods, or the relationships with Krishna. So he's perpetually immersed in relishing the ras of those confidential bhavs evoked by the samvit shakti. And by the Sandhini Shakti, which creates Krita means he makes all the Vishada means pure are brilliant, pure dhams. Nichaya means multitudes. The multitudes of all the dhams that in which Krishna is, in which there's so much ras. So within all those dhams, Krishna is magna. He is completely immersed. He's drowning in the ocean. Ambudo means ocean of ras. Within these dhams that have been manifested by the Sandhini Shakti. So that's the meaning of this verse. And then it says, Vijayate, may that Vraja Rasa Vilasi, may that Krishna who revels in Vraj Ras be ever victorious. So let's look at this chart now. The three functions of Swarup Shakti. Krishna, oops. God, I don't know what's up with my computer. Sorry. My computer's freaking out. I can't just make it go to view. It's not even letting me click anywhere. Zoom to fit. That's what I want. There. Okay, so the three functions of Swarup Shakti. Krishna's original constitutional form, or his Swarup, is composed of Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Therefore, his potency, or Swarup Shakti, also manifests in three forms. So Krishna is Sat, he is full of eternity. Krishna is Chit, he is full of knowledge, and he is Ananda, he is full of bliss. And Krishna has the Sandhini Shakti, the existence potency, and the Samvit Shakti, the knowledge potency, and the Hladini Shakti, the pleasure potency. The three aspects or functions of Swarup Shakti, of Hladini, Samvit, and Sandhini, completely influence all the activities of the Chit Shakti, of the Jiva Shakti, and Maya Shakti. Both the Jiva Shakti and Maya Shakti originate from Krishna's original Swarup Shakti, in the sense that the Jiva Shakti is an atomic part of Swarup Shakti, and Maya Shakti is a perverted reflection of it. Okay, so the activities of the Chit Shakti or Swarup Shakti. Oh, this is a nice chart. So the Chit Shakti, sorry, this is becoming a whole just review session rather than actually reading the book. I wasn't planning on doing this. I just whatever. Sorry. Anyways, it's good to. I think review is always really good because usually what we review is what ends up sticking, for me at least. So okay. Influences the activities. Okay, so the Sandhini, Samvit, and Hladini, they influence the Swarup Shakti, the Jiva Shakti, and Maya Shakti in the following ways. So the Hladini, the pleasure potency of Krishna, influences the Swarup Shakti by making Krishna joyful. By this Shakti, both Krishna, the embodiment of bliss, and his devotees, they taste pleasure, Chid Ananda. The essence of Hladini is Prem, and the concentrated essence of Prem is called Mahabhav. The embodiment of this Mahabhav is Srimati Radhika. She gives happiness to Krishna in all ways, in her own transcendental form, by manifesting 8 ecstatic symptoms, the bhavs, personified as the 8 principal sakis, and by manifesting 4 moods, personified as the 4 different groups of sakis. And this Hladini Shakti influences the activities of the Jiva Shakti by manifesting Brahmananda for the Jivas. That means the spiritual bliss of the Jivas. And the Hladini Shakti acts on, she influences this Hladini Shakti influences the activities of Maya Shakti by manifesting mundane pleasure, Jarananda. Now, the Samvit Shakti influences the activities of the Chit Shakti by manifesting all the various moods in the relationships of the devotees with Krishna. Through this Samvit potency, Krishna performs activities such as attracting the gopis by playing his flute, taking the cows for grazing, etc. So this all has to do with the relationships. Hladini has to do with the bliss for in the spiritual world for Krishna and all the bliss that everybody's tasting and serving Krishna in all ways. That's Hladini Shakti. She influences the jivas by giving them spiritual bliss, and in the material world as mundane pleasure. And then the Samvit is all about relationship, right? He manifests the moods and the relationships of the devotees with Krishna, the Roho Bhav, right, in the verse that we just went over. And he attracts the gopis, everything to do with relationship. And then this Samvit Shakti influences the activities of the Jiva Shakti by manifesting as transcendental knowledge. And it influences the Maya Shakti by manifesting material knowledge. But really, all knowledge is meant just to be, that's how it becomes distorted, right? As material knowledge. But really, the purpose of all knowledge is just to understand our relationship with Krishna. And then the Sandhini Shakti, it influences the activities of the Chit Shakti by manifesting everything in Krishna's spiritual abode that consists of water, earth, etc., such as villages, forests, gardens, etc., all the places of Krishna's pastimes, all the transcendental objects used in Krishna's pastimes, as well as the transcendental bodies of Krishna, Srimati Radhika, all the Brajvasis, all the animals, etc. And then this Sandhini Shakti influences the activities of the Jiva Shakti by manifesting the Jiva's minute transcendental form. And it influences the activities of Maya Shakti by manifesting the entire material universe consisting of 14 planetary systems and the bodies, the material bodies of the Jivas. Okay, so these are the activities of Sandhini, Samvit, and Hladini. Or no, the functions. Huh, interesting. Anyhow, okay. So that was a recap of chapter 14. Now let's go back to this. This is what we went over yesterday, this verse here. Not yesterday, in the previous session 2 days ago. Okay. Spulingare dagner iva chiranavo jiva nichaya Hare Suryasyaiva pritagapitu tad bheda vishaya Vashe maya yasya prakriti patireveshvara iha Sajivo muktopi prakriti vashayo gyas swagunata. I messed that one up. So, as sparks emerge from a blazing fire, Eva means just like Spulinga means sparks, come from a Riddha Agni. That means a blazing, Riddha means blazing, Agni, fire. Just like that, Eva. The spiritual atomic particles of the jivas emanates from the Hare Surya, the son of Shri Hari. They're completely non-different, apritag, from the son of Shri Hari. Just like sparks are non-different from the fire, so the spiritual atomic chid anavo, the spiritual atomic jivas, nichaya means multitudes, the countless jivas, jiva nichaya, they are apritag, they are non-different from the Surya, from the sun that is Shri Hari. And then Eva, certainly, that means. But even though they are apritag, they are non-different, api, although they are still tad bheda vishaya, they are still separate, bheda. They're vibhinangsha, separated ankshas, like parts of Krishna. But in the Bengali translation, it said, I think it said gunangsha or something like that. Or it said, anyways, it means qualitatively. They're qualitatively They're qualitatively non-different from Sri Hari, but quantitatively they are, yes, they are definitely different. What is the difference between the jiva and the Lord, the Ishwar? It explains that in these next two lines. So Ishwar, Sri Hari, who is the supreme controller, Maya is completely subordinate, Vasha, subordinate to him. Vashe Maya Yasya, of whom Maya is subordinate, completely under the control. And he is Prakriti, that means he is the Pati, he is the master of all Prakriti, of all the energy of the Lord. He is the master. That is certainly, certainly that is Ishwar. Whereas the Jiva, even in the liberated states, means api, means although he is maybe liberated, he is still subject to being vasha, coming under the control of prakriti, swagunata, due to his constitutional nature, due to his swabhav, his qualities. That's the quality of a jiva, is that Bhagavan, Sri Hari, is the master, the controller of Maya. Maya is completely subordinate to him. And the jiva is subject to coming under the control of Mahamaya. That's the difference. Let's see the translation here. As sparks emerge from a blazing fire, so too do countless atomic conscious jivas emanate as particles in the rays emanating from the spiritual sun Sri Hari. Although the jivas are qualitatively not separate from Sri Hari, they are also, by nature, separate from him. The eternal difference between the Lord and the jivas is as follows. Ishwar, to whom Maya is eternally surrendered as a maidservant, is the Lord of material nature. The jivas, however, even when liberated, remain prone to the influence of Maya due to their constitutional nature. That's the chapter we read about was all on this topic. We still have a little bit left. I think we'll just finish up this chapter and then that will be our session for today. So, man, I wish I looked at this before and I could have given a review, what is it? Condense it, but anyways, let's just read from where we left off. Rajanath says, if one can only prove the eternal difference between Ishwar and the Jiva, how can one accept the oneness? Another point is, if there is oneness, do we have to accept a state of merging with Ishwar, nirvana? Babaji, no, not at all. The Jiva is not one with Krishna at any stage. Rajanath, then why have you spoken about achinta bhed abhed, inconceivable oneness and difference? Babaji, from the qualitative perspective of Chid Dharma, there is oneness between Krishna and the jivas. But from the quantitative perspective of their essential nature and individual personalities, their swarup, there's eternal difference between them. Despite the eternal oneness, it is the perception of difference that is eternally prominent. Though the Abhed Swarup is in fact, although the Abhed Swarup, the non-different form, is an accomplished fact, the fact that they are constitutionally non-different is an accomplished fact, still there's no indication that any such state has independent existence. Rather, it is the manifestation of nitya bhed, that means the eternal difference, that is always prominent. In other words, where eternal difference and eternal oneness are present simultaneously, the perception of bhed, of difference, is stronger. For example, let us say that the owner of a house is called Devadatta. His house is simultaneously a Devadatta, that means independent of Devadatta, and Sa-Devadatta, that means identified with Devadatta. Even though from some points of view it may be considered independent of Devadatta, like Devadatta is not the house, so it's independent of him. Still, its specific characteristic of being identified with Devadatta eternally exists. It is Devadatta's house. It's, yeah. Similarly, in the case of Ishvar and the jivas, non-difference or oneness is not part of the essential identity, even at the stage of Sarup Siddhi. That means in ultimate perfection, or like in its eternal perfected state, Sarup Shak Siddhi. So even at that stage, the jiva is, there's non-different. That's not the part of the essential identity of the jiva. Just as the house can be called both adevadatta and sadevadatta. From one perspective, it may be viewed as adevadatta, but still the real identity is sadevadatta. It's the house of Devadatta. It's not, he is not the house. Okay, so let me give you another example from the material world. Sky is a material element, and there's also a basis for its existence. But even though the basis is present, only the sky is actually visible. Similarly, even within the non-different, the abhed, the non-different existence, the distinctive eternal difference, the nitya bhed, which is real, is found. And that is why eternal difference is the only definitive characteristic of the essential reality of the vastu. The definitive characteristic of the essential reality is eternal difference. Rajanath, please explain the eternal nature of the jiva even more clearly. Babaji, the jiva is atomic consciousness, and we only have a couple more paragraphs and then we're finished. I know it just turned 8 o'clock, but we'll finish very quickly. So, what is the eternal nature of the jiva? He wants to know. Rajanath's asking him to explain it more clearly. Babaji says, the jiva is atomic consciousness and is endowed with the quality of knowledge and is described by the word ahang, I. He is the enjoyer, the thinker, and the one who comprehends. The jiva has an eternal form, which is very subtle. Just as the different parts of the gross body, the hands, legs, nose, eyes, and so on, combine to manifest a beautiful form when established in their respective places, similarly, a very beautiful atomic spiritual body is manifest, which is composed of different spiritual parts. However, when the jiva is entangled in Maya, that spiritual form is covered by two material bodies. One of these is called the subtle body, it's the linga sharir, and the other is called the gross body, the stula sharir. The subtle body, which is the first to cover the atomic spiritual body, is unavoidable, is apariharya, from the beginning of the jiva's conditioned state until his liberation. When the jiva transmigrates from one body to the next, the gross body changes. But the subtle body does not. Rather, as the jiva leaves the gross body, the subtle body carries all its karmas and desires to the next body. The jiva's change of body and transmigration are carried out through the science of Panchagni, the 5 fires, which is delineated in the Vedas. The system of Panchagni, such as the funeral fire, the fire of digestion, and rain, has been described in the Chandogya Upanishad and Brahma Sutra. The jiva's conditioned nature in the new body is the result of the influences from his previous birth, and this nature determines the varna in which he takes birth. After entering varnashram, he begins to perform karma again, and when he dies, he repeats the same process. The first covering of the eternal spiritual form the first covering of the eternal spiritual form is the subtle body, the mind, intelligence, ego, right? And the second is the gross body, made of the 5 elements. Rajanath, what is the difference between the eternal spiritual body and the subtle body? Babaji, the eternal body, the swarupa, the jiva, is the actual original body, and it is atomic, spiritual, and faultless. This is the real object of the ego. This is the real I. So we do have a transcendental I and mind, but the subtle body arises from contact with matter, and it consists of three vitiated transformations, namely of the mind, intelligence, and ego. Vrajanath, are mind, intelligence, and ego material entities? If they are, how do they have the qualities of knowledge and activity? And then Babaji gives this verse, Bhumir apyo nalo vayu kang mano buddhireva cha ahankara iti yang me bhinna prakriti rashtada. This is Bhagavad Gita. Apareyam itastvanyam prakritim vidime param jiva bhuta mahabaho ya yedam dharyate jagat ettaryonini bhutani sarvanityupadharaya aham kritsnasya jagata prabhava pralayastata. It's Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verses 4 to 6. My separated eightfold, my apara, or maya prakriti, consists, the material nature, consists of the five gross elements, earth, water, fire, air, and space. And the three subtle elements, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Besides this, O mighty armed Arjuna, I have a tatastha prakriti, marginal potency, which can also be called para prakriti, the superior nature, because this tatastha shakti, this marginal potency, is superior to material nature, so it's also called para prakriti. That prakriti is in the form of consciousness and the jīvas. All the jīvas who have manifested from this para prakriti, from this superior nature, make the inert world full of consciousness. The jiva shakti is called tatastha because the jiva is eligible for both worlds, the spiritual world, which is manifest from my antaranga shakti, and the material world, which is manifest from my bahiranga shakti. Since all created entities are manifested from these two types of prakriti, you should know that I, Bhagavan, am the sole original cause of creation and destruction of all the worlds of the moving and non-moving beings. So these three shlokas, these shlokas of Gita Upanishad describe the two types of prakriti of Sarva Shaktiman Bhagavan. One is called para prakriti, the superior energy, and the other is called apara prakriti, the inferior energy. So the jivas and maya. They're also known as jiva shakti and maya shakti respectively. The jiva shakti is called para shakti or Shreshta Shakti, the superior Shakti, because it is full of spiritual atomic particles. The Maya Shakti is called Apara, inferior, because it is material and inert. It is Jada. The Jiva is a completely separate entity from the Apara Shakti, from the Maya Shakti, which contains 8 elements, the 5 gross elements, earth, water, fire, air, and space, and the 3 subtle elements, mind, intelligence, and ego. The last 3 material elements are special. This mind, intelligence, and ego is special. The aspect of knowledge that is visible in them is material and not spiritual. The mind creates a false world by basing its knowledge of sensual objects on the images and influences that it absorbs from the gross subjects in the material realm. This process has its root in mundane matter, not in spirit. The faculty that relies on that knowledge, on material knowledge to discriminate, the faculty that relies on that knowledge to discriminate between real and unreal is called buddhi, which also has its root in mundane matter. Okay, so what is intelligence? Intelligence is the power, is the knowledge by which we discriminate between the real and the unreal. But that still has its root in mundane matter. The ego, or the sense of I-ness, ahamta, I-ness, that is produced by accepting that above knowledge is also material and not spiritual. The I-ness that is produced by accepting that above knowledge is also material and not spiritual. These 3 faculties together manifest the jiva's second form, which acts as the connection between the jiva and matter. and is called the subtle body, the linga sharir. As the ego of the conditioned jiva's subtle body becomes stronger, it covers the ego of his eternal form. The ego and the eternal nature in relationship to the spiritual son Krishna is the eternal and pure ego. That I am a servant of Krishna. That's our pure ego. And this same ego manifests again in the liberated state. However, as long as the eternal body remains covered by the subtle body, the material self-conception, the jada abhiman, arising from the gross and subtle body, remains strong. And consequently, the abhiman, the self-identification of relation with spirit, is almost absent. The linga sharir, the subtle body, is very fine, so that the function of the gross body covers it. Thus, identification with the caste and so on of the gross body arises in the subtle body because it is covered by the gross body. Although the three elements, mind, intelligence, and ego, are material, the abhiman of knowledge is inherent in them because they are vitiated transformations of the function of the soul, of the Atma Vritti. Rajanath. I understand the eternal swarup of the jiva to be spiritual and atomic in nature. And within that swarup is a beautiful body composed of spiritual limbs. In the conditioned state, that beautiful spiritual body remains covered by the subtle body, and the material covering of the jiva swarup, of the jiva's eternal form and nature, in the form of the jada sharir, causes its material transformation, its jada vikar. Now, I want to know whether the jiva is completely faultless in the liberated state. Babaji, the atomic spiritual form is free from defect, but because of its minute nature, it is inherently weak and therefore incomplete. The only defect in that state is that the jiva's spiritual form may be covered through association with the powerful Maya Shakti. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam 10:32, Yeneravindaksha vimuktamaninas tvayastabhavad avishuddha buddhaya aruhya kritrena parang padang tata patantado nadrita yushmarangraya. And this is the end. This is actually the end. So this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, it says, O lotus-eyed Lord, non-devotees, such as the Gyanis, Yogis, and Renunciates, falsely consider themselves to be liberated, but their intelligence is not really pure because they lack devotion. They perform severe austerities and penances and achieve what they imagine to be the liberated position, but they still fall from there into a very low condition due to neglecting your lotus feet. This shows that the constitution of the jiva will always remain incomplete, no matter how elevated a stage the liberated jiva may attain. That is the inherent nature of jiva tattva. And that is why it is said in the Vedas that Ishvar is the controller of Maya, whereas the jiva remains eligible to be controlled of Maya in all circumstances. Just like in this verse, what does it say? Vashe Maya Yasya Prakriti Patir Eveshvara Iha. That Ishvar is, Maya is completely surrendered to him, and he is the master, he is the pati of that energy. Whereas the jivas, even in the liberated state, muktopi, even in the liberated state, prakriti vasha yoga, he is subject or prone to coming under the vasha, the control of prakriti, due to the jiva's minute nature, swagunata. All right, thus ends the 15th chapter of Jaiva-dharma entitled Prameya, Jiva Tattva. So tomorrow we will begin chapter 16, the next proven truth, which is the jivas are possessed, the conditioned jivas are possessed by Maya. Yeah, that's tomorrow. Sorry, today I did a really long introduction. I was not planning on doing that, but anyhow, hopefully that was helpful and it will start to become more solidified, this tattva. Yeah, tomorrow we'll just read. I won't do such a long recap like I did today. All right, I'll just do a very short Mahamantra and end because it's very late. Thanks for sticking with me till the end. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Sorry, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Jai Srila Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Srila Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Swaparsha Chikor Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopikan Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Jai Srila Bhakti Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai, Shri Jaiva-dharma ki Jai, Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Ananta Jai Shri Harinam Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Jai Shri Bhagavan Swayam Brajendranandan Sham Sundar Shri Krishna, who is the Param Tattva, Sarva Shaktiman, and the Akila Rasamrita Sindhu, that Krishna Chandra ki Jai, and his Mahabhav Sarupini, his eternal Shakti, Srimati Radhika ki Jai. Jai Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai, Priyai Keshavashacha, Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi, Sattvatai Namo Namaha, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhyaiva cha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams, Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Sarveshwari Mataji, Pradumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mataji, Indira Mataji, Sri Devi Didi, Yugal Kishori Didi left. Let's see, Fu Monica, Vidya Lalasa Didi, Champak Mataji. Vidya Lalasa says, don't be sorry, Prabhu. The review is very helpful and important. It is such a complex subject matter. Okay, thanks. And Hari Priya Didi. And I see there are 10 devotees here. If you write a comment, I'll see who you are. But thank you so much for joining. And I'll also pranams to all the devotees watching in the future. I'll see you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe. And now, just because I'm like, as I'm going over this more and more, I'll be able to give better recaps. At the moment, I can't give, I just have to like look at the book and just read from the book, but eventually I'll be able to explain it more clearly. Because these, as I've mentioned, I mentioned like all the time that I'm not teaching anything right now. This is a group study thing. So I'm learning with all of you at the same time. And yeah, and I don't do any study separately from these online readings. I just kind of jump on, as you can see. So that's why these readings are not so polished or anything like that. Although eventually, I really do want to go through Jaiva-dharma thoroughly and nicely, and I want to spend time with it, like reading it on my own and like and using all these different guides, making charts, and like just do a really nice, thorough Jaiva-dharma reading. And Tridandi Maharaj does all sorts of like really cool things. Like he has people write summaries of what they've understood. He like gives people homework and things like that. I would love to do a really nice Jaiva-dharma reading like that at some point in the future. But right now, my only concern, the only thing that matters is the songbook to me. And so I don't, yeah, I that's why these programs are, yeah. But eventually, when I'm more freed up, I would love to put more time into this. Anyhow, all right. Thanks. Thank you for joining. See you all tomorrow. Haribol. Oh, and Haribol, Prema Bhakti Didi. Hare Krishna. All right. Dandavat pranam.